This is my first do-it-yourself video for YouTube. I was looking and I couldn't figure out or find anything online that shows you how to replace your fog light. So I'm going to show you how to replace your fog light assembly on a 2009 Mazda 3. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to replace this bolt, and then this bolt. Okay, so you need a short Phillips screwdriver, and pretty much you just go ahead and screw this out. You might need to use a flathead screwdriver to apply some pressure in the back, so that way as you're twisting the Phillips screwdriver, it's pulling the screw out. And you just pop that out. So then this one, you just repeat the steps for all these 3 bolts are here. And you just pop that out. There's a flathead screwdriver. That. And then the one for the top, same thing. Again, this one's not coming out as easy, so you use your flathead screwdriver, apply some pressure to the back, and then go ahead and screw it out. And pop that out. And you're done. So there's a 8mm bolt right here where my finger is at. You kind of have to feel around, you'll feel it. It's right here at this corner. So you want to take your 8mm socket, go ahead and line it up with a bolt. And then you loosen that. Make sure you have an extended 8mm so that way you can match it correctly. So pretty much what you need is you just need to slightly tug on the bumper corner right here to slightly pop it out. And there you go, the bumper is loose. So there's 2 sets of bolts underneath here that you need to do. You need to do this one. You need to loosen this one. So once you finish loosening those, you'll be able to take the bumper off completely. So the next step is you need to loosen this fastener and release this bolt. There's 2 on this side and there's 2 on this side. I already released these 2, but for the video purposes, I'm just showing you what you need to do. Pop that up. And then I'm going to grab it by the center. And then just pull the bumper off. You see the bumper is loose. And then what you want to do is down here where the wire harness is at, you want to press this. It can be a little difficult. The first thing we need to do is pop this little clip out. It's easier to do with a flathead screwdriver, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute. So you just take the flathead screwdriver and you try to pop this clip out. It could be really difficult. You just kind of press on the clip. So you can see I get the clip out. You gotta try not to damage these if you want to reuse a clip. I'm not going to reuse a clip. I'm just going to zip tie it back into where the clip mount when I put the new fog light assembly in. So the next step you want to do is you want to take this bracket off, and it's just these 2 Phillips screws right here. So just a small Phillips screwdriver with a small tip. Go ahead and undo it, or if you have a power drill you can do it that way, but you got to be careful because you don't want to strip the plastic because it's a metal screw going in a plastic hole. So then once both screws are out, you just pop that off and then release this bracket from there, which is to give you the next step. So the next step is we're gonna do these two Phillips screws up here. We use a Phillips screwdriver. Depends on the size. I'm gonna change it to a bigger size so it's easier to work with. So there's these little clips around here. We're gonna remove this clip, this clip, this clip, and this clip. And there's one on the bottom right here where my hand is at. We're gonna pop that clip out, and then we're gonna pop the whole assembly out. There's a bolt right here. We're gonna remove that bolt. It's a 8mm socket, and we'll do that right now. So you just use your socket. Go ahead and release that. Once it's loosened up, you can hand tight it, take the bolt out. That then frees the base of the sub-assembly or the assembly right here. And then, alright, so once you relieve the clips, then you just slide it out and then go ahead and work it around the bumper. So then with a flathead screwdriver, you're going to pop this out, slowly push it forward, work it so it comes off, and then your sub-assemblies or your assembled fog light is out. So then this pretty much is trash, unless you want to keep it as a souvenir as your first project or something. So before you throw this away, you missed a step, you want to use a flathead screwdriver, pop that, keep that in there so it doesn't snap back together, and then kind of just slowly work it so you can push that out, and boom, now you can throw it away. So you want to get your new assembly, and then pretty much just go in reverse, so it only fits one way. You just want to pop it on like that, and then you want to go ahead and feed this back through here so it fits in this little notch right here, so this cable's out of the way when you're putting it back into position. You want to make sure it seats all the way down, but be careful because you don't want to damage the cable. So when it's seated all the way down, you'll see that it's snug, and a little bit of that, this little nub right here is above, and the cable is actually down there. So the next step is you want to take this, kind of see this little hole right here, line up with that, because this is an aftermarket replacement. It may not line up perfectly, so just kind of get your two screws, position it in place, and there. And then just kind of secure it down. Don't tighten it all the way down for right now. Just kind of want to leave it snug so it doesn't move around when you're putting it back in place. Okay, so the next step is you need to line up the assembly to the clips that you just popped out. Make sure they're all lined up. And pretty much slide it in. So once you have it snapped on, everything it should be nice and snug. Make sure the snap pieces is locked around. See, like that's locked around. This one's locked around. This one's locked around. Can't see this one, it's on the bottom, but it's snapped in there. Okay, and then you're good. So of course you want to test your lights, right, to make sure it works. So go ahead, snap it back in, snap the plug right here. It only goes in one way. Snap it back in. Make sure you hear it click. So of course you want to test your lights, so go ahead, turn on fog lights, turn on your lights, and you'll see fog lights are working. So we'll come back and just go into reverse. Go ahead and put your screws in back in. Like, just make sure they're snug. They don't need to be like super tight. This one, because remember, it's a metal screw, plastic hole. If you do it too tight, you'll end up stripping that hole, and then the fog light's gonna be falling out as you're driving down the road. So you don't want that to happen. So just go ahead and snap it down with a 1/4 turn hand tape. So you want to go ahead and put your bolt back on. I'm actually using the one that came with the replacement bulb, or replacement assembly, because it actually has a bigger washer and holds more snugly. So that's the new bolt that I'm using with the wider washer, so that way it actually snugs around a lot better. So this last step is just to snap this back in, and then you're good to go as far as installing your replacement assembly unit fog lights. So at this point we're done putting in the replacement assembly fog lights, and we're going to start putting the bumper back together. So it's pretty much the reverse of what we did. We're going to go ahead and line the bumper up to the positions that goes right there, and then this goes right here. So when you're putting the bumper back on, make sure that you're aligned. These two clips right here, they need to snap into here, and then make sure your holes up here are aligned. So you want to make sure this is closed down. And snap that in there, and push that down. And do the same thing over here. Make sure your bumpers align properly. And clamp these together. And there, snap that down. Okay, so the next step is you want to put your bolt back in. Let's go ahead and do that. Get your Phillips screwdriver. And tighten that one down. And we'll come over to the other side. Tighten that one down. And then it's the top. That's all you need to do the top. So then for the sides, you just want to make sure that everything's aligned in. Bring it in, and then snap it in like that. So she snaps in nice and snug. You hear it pop when it's in place. So what you want to do is you want to make sure all the snaps are in place. So just gently go around the bumper where it's all loose. Press against it. You'll hear it snap. If it's all in place, it shouldn't hear any more snapping. Alright, so make sure you put your bolt back in for the bottom underneath here, and you want to tighten that on. Again, just hand tight. We can either use a screwdriver or you can use an 8mm socket. I'm going to use a socket because it's a lot easier that way. Go ahead and snap everything back into place, but when you're working on this side, whatever side you're working on, make sure your wheel is turned inward, so it's a lot easier to access all the secure points when you're putting the bolts back in. It's also a lot easier when you're taking it out as well. So we're gonna go ahead and replace these 3 bolts. So it's this one, and that one, right there my finger's pointing to, and there's that one. Let it focus. There you go. And there's that one right there. So those you can either do with a 8mm socket or a Phillips screwdriver.